our assistant coach, and Malcolm Marks, our hooker, who is on the top table today. Please feel free to ask your questions. Apologies firstly for running a little late. We just had a team meeting that ran a little late. Just as usual, please raise your hand, ask your question, and if I can appeal to you to please ask one question at a time. We'll move to Afrikaans for Dion at the end. But please, guys, one question at a time so that we can get as many in as possible. Also, I'd just like to warn you in advance. We are not commenting on the Elton Jantjies matter at all. So please, can you refrain from asking such questions? Yeah, we won't be answering them, unfortunately. Thanks, guys. So you can raise your hands for questions.
Thanks, Ina. Hi, Dion. Hi, Malcolm. Malcolm, the scrum battle this weekend, Argentines renowned for their scrumming prowess and something they really pride themselves on, but you guys must also be looking forward to a challenge up front this week.
Yeah, definitely. Argentinians have always had a great scrum, and I think it is going to be a great challenge for us. But yeah, we'll focus on ourselves and see where we can improve from the past 2 games or that we've played and see where we can get better. And obviously, we know it's going to be a big challenge for us, but you know, luckily we got the week to prepare for it and try and prepare ourselves to the best of our abilities.
Kobus?
Thanks, Dina. Hello, Dion. Hello, Malcolm. Dion, is there any concern in the camp at fly-off? If you think that Andre is injured now and Elton left the group, is there any, is that a point of concern for you guys?
Kobus, yeah, last week, obviously Damien played, Elton was injured, and Damien really had a good game. So we're quite happy in terms of where we are with him. And then obviously we're also lucky to have in the team an experienced guy that like Frans Steyn that have played there before. A guy like Faf also 1 or 2 games have shown some have played some games there. So yeah, I think as this team we adapt in terms of the circumstances. We've done it last week and a couple of games before, and yeah, that is where we are. So we're really quite happy in terms of where we are with Damien in that position.
Sbu?
Thanks, Ina. Coach Dion, how is the camp mood in light of the recent events? You know, the focus on Argentina. Are you guys able to, you know, stick to the rugby, you know, with all the reports and stuff flying around?
Listen, we've dealt with the situation in a professional manner. I think as a team we understand in terms of where our focus needs to be, and I can assure you it's completely on the big challenge that awaits for us against Argentina. We in the past had a lot of mixed results against them here. They're a tough team to beat here, and we need all our focus in our preparation this week in order to get a good reward. We all know that the competition are quite close amongst the teams. The next 2 games is sort of going to be some finals, and that is how we approach it. And in order to do that, listen, we just need to be clear cut in terms of our prep and what's going to be important for us.
Further questions, guys? Yes, we can.
Thanks. My question was for Dion. Dion, you mentioned that these last 2 games in the championship will be like finals. How much does it help you guys in preparation, knowing that you have that experience of winning the World Cup and last year winning the series against the Lions after you've lost the first test? How much does this help this week or basically the next 2 weeks?
Definitely. I mean, it's massive preparation in the sense that if you look at the schedule of the World Cup, it might happen that our roads might cross again in that competition. So for us playing in such tough games against New Zealand, Australia, and now Argentina, and also with how we selected our teams and the experience that the players have got in this competition, playing at this level, at this intensity, and then also in terms of how we want to play, I think it's very good preparation. And as we said from the start, everything builds up in terms of what we want to achieve ultimately. So having this tough challenge ahead of us now, getting that experience and feeling in terms of what will it feel, for instance, maybe in a quarter or semi-final, that is something that we need at this stage. And yeah, it's just a great competition to be part of.
Mike?
Dion, you mentioned how tight it is on the rugby championship table. Do you guys chase the bonus point in this game, or do you concentrate simply on the win?
Well, definitely. I mean, our aim, like any other team in the competition, is to win the championship, and we know that we have to ensure that we strive to get maximum points out of this game. But in order to do that, obviously, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We need to focus on giving small steps and be process driven in order to get there. And that is why it's so important for us to align and to be focused in terms of what we want to achieve in all the departments in order to ensure that we are our best against Argentina on Saturday, which is needed when you play against them here in Argentina.
Percy, is your question in English or Afrikaans?
Zina, I'll wait for the Afrikaans section, Zina. Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll come back to you then, Percy. Dylan?
Thanks, Zina. Hi, guys. Just please a question for Malcolm. Malcolm, just your thoughts on the battle with the Argentinian hookers. They're obviously captained by Julian Montoya, who has been in excellent form in the Rugby Championship. Just how do you see that battle going?
No, it's definitely going to be tough. Yeah, I've seen the way he's played throughout the championship, but not only for his country, for his club as well, at Leicester Tigers. So, yeah, I think it is going to be a great battle. Yeah, but I think for now, we'll just focus on ourselves and try and prep ourselves to the best of our abilities.
Mike, is that another question or is your hand still up?
Sorry, no, it's fine.
Okay, Percy, you can ask in Afrikaans.
Zina, ek sê vir jou besonder dankie vir die geleentheid. Goeiemiddag Dion, good afternoon Malcolm. Dion, ek weet ek mag nie vra oor spankeuse nie. Daarom moet ek jou 'n ander tipe vraag vra. En ek gaan dit vir een oomblik voorgee asof ek die Moeder Teresa of 'n pope is nie. So daarom gaan ek die vraag so vra. Dion, kan ek vir jou vra, ek sien nou onlangs sien ek 'n video was op sosiale media gedeel oor Jacques Nienaber wat die Springbok eed aan Kenan Moody voorlees. Kan jy vir my sê, as jy bemagtig vir sê, wat behels die Springbok eed, meneer? En weet jy, as 'n afrigter, 'n senior lid, weet Rassie Erasmus, weet Jacques Nienaber, weet julle backroom staff, weet elke speler in julle span wat dit behels om 'n ambassadeur vir die land te wees of wat dit beteken om 'n rolmodel vir miljoene Suid-Afrikaners?
Dit is 'n baie moeilike vraag en miskien is dit ook 'n vraag wat jy miskien vir die hoofafrigter moet hou op moet vra uit respek het, maar ek kan jou verseker vir ons almal in hierdie groep is dit 'n massiewe eer en 'n voorreg om deel te wees van die Springbok span, en ons verstaan dat ons die hele Suid-Afrika verteenwoordig en natuurlik om dit te doen kom 'n klomp verantwoordelikheid en daardie verantwoordelikheid word natuurlik weerspieël in die iets wat die spelers aflê en dit waarvoor ons staan, en dit is waarvoor ons probeer dit is hoe ons probeer om ons werk te doen, omdat ons weet die Springbok span behoort aan almal.
Zina, can I ask Malcolm a question?
Yes, you can, Percy.
So, Malcolm, just as a follow-up, as a player, possibly, from a player's point of view, do you perhaps, as a representative of the players, do you understand what it means to be an ambassador or a role model for people who look up to you guys as players?
Yeah, I think, as Coach Dion said, it's a very difficult question to answer. Yeah, I think there's a responsibility, but as Coach Dion said, I think it's maybe something you need to ask the head coach. I don't think I'm the one that's going to give you the correct answer for that.
Thank you so much, Zina.
Kobus?
Dion, ek wil graag vra na die goeie vertoning in die vorige toets teen die Wallabies. En ek weet julle kan nie eintlik iets aan die bepalinge doen nie. Maar is dit ideaal om wanneer jy so 'n vertoning gelewer het, die volgende Saterdag al teen die Argentinië te speel, of is die ruskans hulle goed gedoen daar in Buenos Aires?
Ek hoop as jy sê dis as eintlik nooit 'n regte manier om dit te beantwoord nie. Somtyds as jy 'n onmiddellike wedstryd na so 'n goeie vertoning of kry, dan wil jy graag hy momentum bou. Maar somtyds is doen rus ook spelers goed, veral in so 'n uitdagende kompetisie, dat jy kans kry om te herstel, 'n bietjie weg te breek van die intensiteit van die kompetisie en dan weer te herfokus in terme van wat voor lê. Ek kan nie verseker ons het hierdie aftyd of hierdie paar dae wat ons gehad het, kon ons weer dinge 'n bietjie ligter neem, maar en ons het nou weer 'n kans natuurlik om ons fokus heeltemal op die wedstryd van Saterdag te skuif. So ja, ons wens is om op baie intensiteit te bou wat ons gehad het teen Australië, om daarop voor te bou. En ek dink dit is waaroor ons praat en dit is wat ons graag wil bereik hierdie Saterdag.
Kobus?
Dion, dan net, is daar enige, kan jy dalk ons 'n aanduiding gee of Pieter Steff de Tooy beskikbaar is vir Saterdag se toets? En of daar enige ander beserings is?
In hierdie stadium het ons geen beserings nie, almal is beskikbaar vir seleksie.
Sbu?
Hi again, thanks, Zina. Question again for Coach Dion. Coach, the Argentinians really did cop it against the All Blacks in the last game, having made history over there. What sort of backlash are you expecting from them at home? They tend to be an emotional side. Tied to that, do you think having a coach like Michael Cheika adds to their level of competency in terms of just concentrating on the game? Obviously, they know how to play rugby, but in terms of concentrating on the game, maintaining their discipline, and not letting the emotions run away with them, as has happened in the past?
Yes, I think Argentina at this point, I think they're a very well coached side. They definitely changed some things in their approach, and I think the results showed against Australia and against New Zealand in that regard. Obviously, playing them here, I think they would have learned a lot of lessons playing against New Zealand and Australia prior towards us. I think also they've got a good understanding in terms of how we do things, and playing them here, obviously, because they're such a well coached side at this stage. I think they're going to be very competitive. Together with that, obviously they play in front of a very passionate crowd, and themselves, I mean, they will need no motivation in terms of in terms of playing against us. So yeah, I think that it's going to be a tough challenge from a on-field perspective, and then also in terms of the crowd, the passion that's behind them to perform.
Kobus?
Thanks, Zina. Malcolm, after quite a few indifferent performances from actually all the teams in the competition thus far, is consistency and keeping the intensity high a big focus point the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think the next 2 weeks are going to be massive, and all 4 teams are in the running to win it. So, like Coach Dion said, we're obviously training and preparing ourselves to obviously get the best possible result that we can. But yeah, I think intensity will be a big key, and obviously not getting ourselves up. But we know that Argentina are really passionate when they play at home, and they're extremely tough. So yeah, I think we'll obviously have something on that, but we're focusing on ourselves to try and make sure we sort of the best prep that we can be.
Any further questions?
Zina, sorry, I can't. It's Gavin Ritchie. I can't find a hand to put up. I was just going to ask Dion if I can proceed. Dion, Argentina are sort of quite a different team in way to New Zealand and Australia, and also you played them last year and you beat them twice in Quebec. It was Port Elizabeth, I think, still at the time. You beat them in Quebec last year. But at that time, there was COVID impacting them as much as I think it was impacting you. And last year they had quite a miserable year because they were sort of in isolation so much. How much have they grown, and how different is it to play against them compared to playing the other two teams? I mean, are they sort of almost like a team that you sort of know a bit better in a way because they sort of play more like the South African style?
You know, when you look at Argentina, as I said, you're going to have the experience of players on the field that's tough, that's physical, that's going to be in your face for the whole 80 minutes. That, as I said, at this stage is playing a very good game in terms of how they handle their territory and how they attack, and also in terms of their defense. I think they've appointed now a new defense coach prior to this competition. So you've got to take all of those factors into consideration and to understand that, listen, we can't fall back in terms of past games that we've played against them. Maybe there's one or two things that we can take into consideration, but this is if you look at this competition, this is a very, very competitive Argentinian side. As I said, a very well coached side with very good individuals, skillful individuals, and tough guys in their side. So for us, it's going to be important to do what we do very well. And then I think the players in the team understand that at this stage.
Guys, I don't see any new hands raised. Are there any final questions or Afrikaans questions?
Sina, kan ek hom vra?
Jy mag, ja.
Dion, ek wil net vra, is nie 'n bietjie terug te gaan. Julle week lank nou in Argentinië. Wat het julle spesifiek verlede week gedoen? Ek weet dit het voorgekom asof julle baie meer 'n rustiger week gehad het verlede week, of was die fokus hoofsaaklik net op oefening geweest verlede week?
Ja, ons het 'n paar dae afgehad verlede week en natuurlik het ons ook aan ons voorbereiding gewerk, 3-4 dae geoefen. En ons soort van infaseer in hierdie week in. So dit was basies ons fokus verlede week is om 'n bietjie ons fokus af te kry van die intensiteit van die game, 'n bietjie te begin om onsself in te faseer in hierdie kompeterende weke.
Baie dankie, Sina.
Is that it, guys? Can we wrap up or? Avuyile?
Yeah, thanks. Just the last one for Malcolm. Malcolm, we've seen in the past 2 games against Australia, the maul hasn't been really working for us. No momentum going forward. What are you guys working on this week, looking to do differently to try and get those penalties from that maul and some go forward momentum?
I don't know how true that is. I think we got 6 penalties off our mauls over the past weekend, or the last game that we played. So yeah, I think we are still getting reward off of our mauling. And yeah, obviously it's a big focus point for us. Obviously, we always want to get better and always want to improve, not only in the mauls but in all aspects of the game.